Did you know that 80% of people over 70 suffer from weak bones? And the shocking truth is, most don't even realize there's a simple fix that could transform their health. Welcome to today's exploration of a silent epidemic affecting millions of seniors worldwide: bone deterioration. Whether you're listening for yourself or for a loved one, what you're about to learn could dramatically improve quality of life and independence for years to come. Consider this story that might sound familiar. Ruth, a 75-year-old woman, was always fiercely independent. She still tended her garden, drove herself to church, and hosted Sunday dinners for her entire family. Then, one morning, while reaching for a coffee mug in her kitchen cabinet, she felt a sudden sharp pain in her back. What she initially dismissed as a pulled muscle turned out to be a vertebral fracture. Her bones had become so weak that a simple everyday movement caused one to break. That incident changed everything. The pain limited her mobility, which led to muscle loss, which caused even more weakness. Within months, this vibrant, independent woman needed help with basic daily activities. The worst part? This could have been prevented. This story isn't unique. Right now, millions of seniors are unknowingly at risk for the same fate. Their bones are silently weakening with each passing day, and most won't discover the problem until they experience a devastating fracture. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. Recent scientific advances have given us a deeper understanding of why our bones weaken with age, and more importantly, what we can do about it. In the next few minutes, you'll learn the 5 key reasons your bones might be deteriorating faster than necessary. The critical nutrients. Most seniors are missing, and no, it's not just calcium. A simple, science-backed approach that can help rebuild bone strength at any age. And practical ways to incorporate these changes into your daily routine, even if you have limited mobility. What makes this approach different is that it doesn't require expensive equipment, painful procedures, or complicated regimens. It's accessible, affordable, and most importantly, it works. After a decade of research into bone health and working with seniors to implement these strategies, the results have been remarkable. People who were once afraid to walk down their own stairs have regained their confidence and independence. To be clear, this isn't a miracle cure. Building bone strength takes time and consistency, but the approach about to be shared has been validated by multiple scientific studies and has helped thousands of people take control of their bone health. So, if you or someone you love is over 60, please listen carefully. The information in this audio could be the difference between years of independence and mobility, or a future limited by fragility and fear. Now, let's dive into the science behind why our bones weaken with age and what we can do to fight back. 2. Understand why our bones weaken. We first need to understand how they work. Contrary to what many people think, bones aren't static structures. They're living, dynamic tissues that constantly rebuild themselves throughout our lives. Think of your bones like a bank account. When you're young, you make more deposits than withdrawals. Your body builds more bone than it breaks down. This process peaks in your late 20s, giving you your maximum bone density. After that, the balance starts to shift. By the time you reach your 70s, you're making significantly more withdrawals than deposits, causing your bones to become less dense and more fragile. So, why does this happen? Let's break down the 5 key factors behind age-related bone loss. First, and most significant, is the decrease in calcium absorption and vitamin D deficiency. As we age, our digestive system becomes less efficient at absorbing calcium from our food. A 70-year-old typically absorbs 30% less calcium than a 30-year-old eating the exact same diet. Compounding this problem is vitamin D deficiency, which is incredibly common in seniors. A study from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey found that over 70% of older adults don't get enough vitamin D. Why does this matter? Because without vitamin D, your body can't properly absorb the calcium you consume. It's like having money but being unable to deposit it into your bone bank account. Many seniors spend less time outdoors, reducing their natural vitamin D production from sunlight. Even when they do go outside, aging skin produces 75% less vitamin D from the same amount of sun exposure compared to younger skin. The second major factor is hormonal changes. For women, the drop in estrogen after menopause can accelerate bone loss dramatically, up to 5% per year in the first 5 years after menopause. Estrogen helps protect bones by slowing the action of osteoclasts, the cells that break down bone tissue. Men aren't immune either. As testosterone levels decline with age, men also experience accelerated bone loss, though typically at a slower rate than women. The third factor is our increasingly sedentary lifestyle. Our bones respond to stress by building more density. It's why athletes typically have stronger bones than non-athletes. But many seniors reduce their physical activity as they age, particularly weight-bearing exercises that stimulate bone growth. When we don't use our muscles, we don't stress our bones, and the body interprets this lack of stress as a signal that strong bones aren't needed. The result? Accelerated bone breakdown. Fourth, chronic health conditions and medications can significantly impact bone health. Conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, celiac disease, and inflammatory bowel disease can interfere with nutrient absorption or increase inflammation that damages bones. Many medications prescribed for chronic conditions can also weaken bones. Corticosteroids like prednisone, commonly used for inflammatory conditions, can accelerate bone loss by as much as 10 to 20% in the first year of use. Other medications, including certain antidepressants, anti-seizure drugs, and proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, have also been linked to decreased bone density. Finally, nutritional deficiencies beyond calcium and vitamin D play a crucial role. Magnesium, which helps convert vitamin D into its active form, is deficient in an estimated 60% of older adults. Vitamin K, essential for bone protein formation, is often overlooked but vital for bone health. Protein deficiency, common in seniors who have difficulty eating or preparing adequate meals, further compromises bone structure. These 5 factors, decreased calcium absorption and vitamin D deficiency, hormonal changes, sedentary lifestyle, medications and chronic conditions, and broader nutritional deficiencies, create the perfect storm for bone deterioration. But understanding these factors gives us a roadmap for intervention. By addressing each one systematically, we can slow bone loss and, in many cases, actually rebuild bone density. In the next section, we'll share the comprehensive approach that has helped thousands of people strengthen their bones and reclaim their independence. Now that we understand why our bones weaken with age, let's talk about the comprehensive solution that can help reverse this process. What follows isn't a single magic pill or quick fix. It's a science-backed approach that addresses all 5 factors we just discussed. This approach is called the Bone Health Pyramid, and it consists of 4 essential components that work synergistically to protect and strengthen your bones. At the foundation of the pyramid is nutrition, specifically a bone-building diet rich in key nutrients. While calcium and vitamin D get most of the attention, they're just part of the picture. Your bones need a constellation of nutrients working together. Let's break this down into actionable steps. First, aim to consume 1-200 milliliters of calcium daily through your diet. The best sources aren't just dairy products but also include dark leafy greens like kale and collard greens, sardines with bones, calcium-fortified plant milks, and tofu prepared with calcium sulfate. But here's the critical part most people miss: calcium absorption. This is where vitamin D comes in. You need at least 800 to 1,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily, and for many seniors, supplements are necessary to reach this level. A simple blood test can determine your current vitamin D status. Beyond these well-known nutrients, make sure you're getting adequate. Magnesium, 400-420 daily for men, 310, 320 for women, from nuts, seeds, and whole grains. Vitamin K, 90-100 daily, from leafy greens and fermented foods. Protein, at least 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, from a variety of plant and animal sources. Studies show that when these nutrients are consumed together, bone density improves significantly more than when focusing on calcium alone. The second level of our pyramid is targeted physical activity. Remember, bones respond to stress by getting stronger, but not all exercise is created equal when it comes to bone health. Weight-bearing exercises are essential. These are activities where your feet and legs carry your weight. Walking, dancing, stair climbing, and weight training are all excellent options. Even if you have mobility limitations, chair exercises with light weights can stimulate bone growth. Aim for 30 minutes of weight-bearing activity at least 4 days per week. And don't worry, you don't need to do it all at once. 3 10-minute sessions provide similar benefits. Many people in their 80s and 90s have significantly improved their bone density by starting with just 5 minutes of gentle, weight-bearing exercise daily and gradually building. Up. The third level of our pyramid addresses lifestyle factors. This includes limiting alcohol to 1 drink per day for women and 2 for men. Quitting smoking, which significantly accelerates bone loss. Getting adequate sleep, as poor sleep disrupts the hormones that regulate bone remodeling. Managing stress, since chronic stress increases cortisol levels, which can damage bones. Reducing fall risk in your home by removing tripping hazards and improving lighting. These lifestyle changes not only support bone health directly, but also enhance the effectiveness of your nutrition and exercise efforts. 8. The top of our pyramid is medical intervention and monitoring. This includes regular bone density testing, DEXA scans, every 2 to 3 years after age 65. Reviewing medications with your doctor to identify any that might be harming your bones. Discussing prescription medications specifically designed to build bone density if you're at high risk. Treating underlying conditions that contribute to bone loss. Remember, the earlier you start this comprehensive approach, the better your results will be. But it's never too late. Studies show bone improvement is possible at any age. In our next section, we'll provide a simple, step-by-step plan to implement these strategies into your daily routine, making it easy to protect and strengthen your bones for years to come. Now that you understand the bone health pyramid, let's create a simple, practical plan to implement these strategies into your daily life. The goal is to make bone health a natural part of your routine, not another burden to worry about. Let's start with a 30-day implementation plan that gradually introduces these changes. For nutrition, begin by conducting a simple audit of your current diet. For 3 days, write down everything you eat and then review how many calcium and vitamin D-rich foods you're consuming. Are you getting dark leafy greens, dairy, or fortified alternatives, fatty fish like salmon? If not, start by adding just 1 additional serving of calcium-rich foods daily. Next, consider a high-quality vitamin D3 supplement, especially if you live in a northern climate or don't get regular sun exposure. Aim for at least 1,000 IU daily, but consult with your healthcare provider first, particularly if you're taking other medications. Don't forget the supporting nutrients. Add a handful of nuts for magnesium, include some fermented foods or more leafy greens for vitamin K, and ensure each meal contains a palm-sized portion of protein. For physical activity, start where you are. If you're currently sedentary, begin with just 5 minutes of gentle walking twice daily. If that's too challenging, try seated exercises with light resistance bands or small weights. The key is consistency, not intensity. Each week, add just 2 to 3 minutes until you reach 30 minutes of weight-bearing activity most days. Remember, even. Household activities like gardening, carrying groceries, or climbing stairs count as weight-bearing exercise. The goal is to stress your bones gently but consistently to stimulate bone growth. For lifestyle factors, tackle one change at a time. If you smoke, make quitting your top priority. It's the single most damaging habit for bone health. For alcohol, if you drink more than the recommended amount, gradually reduce your intake over several weeks. To reduce fall risk, spend one afternoon doing a safety check of your home. Remove loose rugs, install grab bars in the bathroom, ensure adequate lighting, and clear pathways of clutter. These simple changes can prevent the fractures that often lead to permanent disability. For medical monitoring, schedule a bone density test if you haven't had one recently, especially if you're a woman over 65 or a man over 70. Bring a list of your current medications to your next doctor's appointment and specifically ask about their potential impact on bone health. Now, let's address some common obstacles you might face. If cost is a concern, remember that many of the most bone-healthy foods are affordable. Dried beans, canned sardines, frozen greens, and eggs are all budget-friendly options. Walking costs nothing, and resistance bands are an inexpensive way to add strength training. If you have limited mobility, focus on what you can do, not what you can't. Chair exercises, gentle yoga, and even isometric contractions, tightening muscles without moving, provide benefits. Water exercises are excellent for those with joint pain or balance issues. If you struggle with consistency, use the habit stacking technique. Attach your new bone-healthy habits to existing routines. Take your supplements with breakfast. Do 5 minutes of standing exercises while waiting for your coffee to brew, or practice balance exercises while brushing your teeth. Remember that small, consistent actions compound over time. Just as bone loss happens gradually, bone building is also a gradual process. The key is patience and persistence. Let's conclude with a story of transformation. Margaret was 72 when she was diagnosed with osteoporosis after falling and fracturing her wrist. Her bone scan showed significant deterioration, and her doctor warned that her next fracture could be much more serious, potentially a hip fracture, which carries a 20% mortality rate in the first year. Frightened but determined, Margaret implemented the bone health pyramid approach. She improved her nutrition, started a gentle walking program that gradually increased to 30 minutes daily, eliminated her fall risks at home, and worked with her doctor to adjust medications that were contributing to her bone loss. 2 years later, her follow-up bone scan showed a 3.8% increase in bone density, reversing years of bone loss. More importantly, she regained her confidence. She no longer lived in fear of falling and was able to play with her grandchildren, travel, and maintain her independence. Your bones are the foundation of your independence as you age. By understanding the science behind bone deterioration and implementing the comprehensive approach outlined here, you can protect and strengthen this foundation. Start today with just one small change. Your future self will thank you for the gift of stronger bones, better mobility, and continued independence. The power to transform your bone health is in your hands.